Hey there, welcome back to the Broken Farm. Today is Friday. It's April 22nd, and I just stopped back over here at the farm on my way. Well, it's not on the way. I came here after work today because I want to turn my freeze dryer on. So that's one of the things that is frustrating to me about not living out here on the farm right now, is that I can't run this thing constantly. And that's right now I've got so many things that I want to put through this freeze dryer that it's frustrating to me that I have to wait. So what I did was I went to the store the other day. We did join a CSA for the summer, but it hasn't started with the pickups yet. That'll start in the middle of May. So until then, I went to Costco and I bought some vegetables that I want to run through the freeze dryer. They're not frozen, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do them fresh and see just how long it takes. So let me tell you what I've got. I'm gonna go ahead and get these things loaded on the trays, and I'll get the freeze dryer starting to pre-freeze, and then I will let you know exactly what I've got to freeze dry. I got my trays loaded, and I may have been a little overzealous or thinking that my trays were bigger than they were, because I didn't get even half of what I prepared on the trays. So what I'm probably going to do is I'll put this load in, get it started, and then I'm going to fill my other set of trays, because I have a backup set. I'll fill with the rest, or as much of the rest of these vegetables as I can, and I'll put those in the freezer and freeze them. That way when this cycle is done, I can run them for the next cycle. So let me show you what I got done. Let me turn the camera around and show you what I put on my trays. All right, so this is my makeshift workstation here. My tray here has green beans. I did blanch these so that the green color would stay, and I also sprinkled a little bit of Lowry seasoning salt because people have said that they make a really good snack. I also did celery. So this is celery, and I chop this into smaller pieces. The reason why I'm doing these vegetables is because these are vegetables, minus the green beans. We eat a lot of green beans, but these other vegetables are things that I really don't buy that much. And the reason I don't buy them is because we don't eat them enough that if I buy a bunch of celery, it usually goes bad before we eat it. So Shawn and I are the only ones in our family that will eat celery, and really the main reason we like celery is when we make tuna salad, we like to have a little celery in there. But if you've ever made tuna salad before, you know that you don't need that much. So my goal in freeze drying this celery is that I will have it, it'll be on the shelf, and anytime we want to make tuna salad, we can just grab a little bit of celery and we can actually have it in our tuna salad without letting the whole bunch go bad. Same with the mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but I'm the only one in my family that really does. Although Shawn will eat the mushrooms if they're chopped really small. So that's why I chop these real small, because I can throw these in anything. And actually what I plan to do with all of these things is I plan to make some powder with it. So I'll take some of these chopped celery and grind it into powder that I can use in anything. I can even make some celery salt. With the mushroom, I can grind that down, some of it down into powder, and I'll have mushroom powder that I can throw in anything that I want to have some mushroom flavor. On my next tray, I did bell peppers, but like I said, I prepared so much that I really thought I'd be able to get at least 2 different colors on one tray. But those are all the yellows that I prepared, and this is only a portion of the orange. So I have red in my bag that I didn't even get on a tray, so I'm gonna put those on the next trays. So I have the orange and the yellow bell pepper. Again, we don't eat very much bell pepper. I always feel like if I need it for anything, we never eat a whole pepper. So this is a way that we can still use it, and if it's on my shelf, I'll be more inclined to use it because I've already got it not only ready, but it's prepared. And that's the other thing, right? Who wants to chop all the time? And then this one I just did mushrooms. I did cut these mushrooms. These are baby portobellas. And I cut these obviously bigger than the little pieces, but these I can use in things that I want a bigger mushroom in. So my, looks like my freeze dryer is ready for me to load the food in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that loaded and get it started, and then I will use my extra trays there to put the rest of my food in. So I got, if you saw, I got a whole tray of the larger sliced mushrooms in the freezer. I got another whole tray of finely diced mushrooms in the freezer. I think the other one that I had was a tray of a few of the orange bell peppers and then all of the red bell peppers that I did. And then I have here, this celery is, what am I trying to say? This celery I cut a little bit larger. This will be good for soups and that type of thing that you can just throw in there. And then this was my tray of all the leftover stuff. So I have the larger celery slices, the smaller celery slices, or diced celery, I guess, my orange bell peppers that were left, and then what I had left of the bigger sliced mushrooms. Those green beans are just gonna have to come home and we're just gonna have to eat them because they're not ready. And so I'm gonna put these two trays in the freezer and they'll be frozen, ready for whenever this comes out. So the load that I just put in there right now is not frozen. So this is the first time I'm doing a load where I haven't pre-frozen the food. So it's probably gonna take a little bit longer, but the machine is designed to do both, either frozen or non-frozen food. So we will be back out tomorrow. And I think tomorrow, let me turn this around. So sorry about the terrible lighting in here, but I think tomorrow, Shawn's plan is to continue working in the bathroom. I know we're gonna bring out a load of things because we're starting to move in, and I may or may not try to get outside and work in my garden. It's supposed to be really nice this weekend, so we will see you guys tomorrow back here on the farm. Good morning. Well, we're back here on the farm this morning. It's Saturday and it's a beautiful day out here. I think our high is around, I think it's in the 80s or something. So it's just going to be really pretty today. We just got here a little while ago. It's pretty early. We're here, it's 9 o'clock. We got here about 30 minutes ago, and Shawn got here earlier than that. Today's job, Shawn's going to be working on the inside. He's going to be working in the bathroom. The girls and I are going to be finishing doing some burning. So a lot of this area here that we've been trying to clean up, we're going to try to work on getting most of that burnt up today. We don't have all day because Bailey has a game tonight. She has, they're doing it's I don't know what you call it, but it's a game it's as a memorial for a player that passed away several years ago that was on the team. So she has that, and she has to be at her field at 2:30. So that means Natalie and I are going to have to leave around 1:30 to get her there on time. So Shawn's going to stay here and work a little while, and then he'll come to the game later. And I think Natalie and I are going to, when we leave, we're going to go back to the apartment and just start packing up because we are within a few weeks of being out here permanently. So part of today's job is going to be doing some burning, but then I also want to go inside and try to start doing some more deep cleaning. I think one of the floors I'm going to try to get down. I've mopped it several times and it just doesn't feel like it's getting clean. So I may get down on my hands and my knees and scrub with the sponge. I don't know. So that's going to be on our agenda for today. Shawn is, like I said, he's working on the bathroom. I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it in our last video that we changed the layout of the back area. So that has been It's always been our intention to make it a bathroom, a closet, and a pantry area. And we have since kind of reworked that. And the main reason is because we wanted a bigger vanity, and the area that we had set out for the vanity is not gonna be big enough for 2 sinks. And Shawn and I have been spoiled by having 2 sinks, and here in our apartment we only have 1, and it drives us crazy. So we want to make 2 sinks there. So what we've done is we've rearranged it all, and then we're still going to have a closet in the middle of that back area, but we've also kind of changed our plan as far as the last area, the area that you walk into, was going to be a pantry for me, and we've kind of changed that a little bit. It's going to be the half bath, and instead of making that a pantry, we are going to build ourselves a root cellar. So I'm really excited about that. I posted a picture on Instagram, so if you follow us on Instagram, you might have seen it, but I didn't even take into account the basement area, and I think it's a perfect spot for a root cellar. So I'm taking you down there right now so you can see kind of what we're thinking, but I think it'll be really good. We are gonna move 1, if not 2 of our freezers down there. It will help with cooling because it stays pretty cool down there. And then we're also going to move the freeze dryer down there as well. Not right away, but at some point that's going to be the permanent home of it. So if we make this a root cellar, then I don't need quite as big of a pantry upstairs. So I'll still have a little one, but the majority of it is going to be down here in the root cellar. So let me take you in and show you. Shawn's up he's in the bathroom, so you can kind of hear him on the floor, so it might be a little bit loud. All right, so this part of the basement is where you walk in, and the majority of the area that we're talking about using for a root cellar is going to be this back area on this side of the stairs. So these are the stairs that come out of the closet that's kind of in the kitchen area. So eventually we'll redo these stairs, but originally we thought we were going to use this landing area up here as the half bath, and we were going to close off these stairs. But now we want to keep them open, and we're going to eventually redo them because they're very uneven, and they're just not very fun to walk up. Your head actually hits right here. So but this area right here will be a perfect spot to make a root cellar. And I can stand up in here. I mean, it's a low ceiling, but I can stand up, and in these pockets here, Shawn can stand up. So that's what we're thinking of. So this area is gonna need to be cleaned out some more, and we'll probably try to figure out some type of flooring, whether it's pavers or something like that, just to make it even and nicer down here on the floor. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and get started burning outside. And as you can hear, Shawn is working up there in the bathroom. right, so it's about 11:20 and we've been working on getting all of that brush burned up. That's a hard work. And so I'm gonna come up here to the front and work on up potting some more of my tomato plants. I have some that I didn't finish the last time I did it. So I've got this group right here that I need to up pot. So I've got my cups over here, and Shawn gave me this bit for his drill so that I can use it, so I can use it to poke the holes in the bottom of the cup. And I've got my dirt there, and then I will get working on this. The girls have started cleaning out under the basement, and I think Shawn's back into working on the bathroom. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit. All right, it is 2:15. The girls and I are getting ready to leave, but I wanted to show you there is a new toilet hole. So Shawn is getting ready to unhook that toilet and move it over here, but it will still, once he does that, he will hook it up and it will still run for us tomorrow. And the girls and I are leaving, but I wanted to show you my freeze dryer. My freeze dryer is still going. It's been in the drying phase, it says, for 11 hours, and it's just about halfway as far as its little gauge on time. So I would imagine it's gonna take probably just as much time. It's been going for 20 hours right now, 20 hours and 47 minutes. And I was kind of thinking it would probably take about 40 hours to run this cycle. But you can kind of see in there, you can see that the celery there is kind of looking like it's frozen right now. So we'll check on it tomorrow when we come back out, and we'll let you know what we get into tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Hello and welcome back to the farm. It is Sunday and the girls and I just got here. I think it's about 9:30, and I'm really excited because my freeze dryer finished up. So I already started taking some of this stuff out, so let me show you what I've got. Right here is my yellow peppers and some of my orange peppers, and they're just light and airy, and I tasted one and they taste really good. And then one of the other things that I did in here is I did some green peppers. And these, sorry, the machine's still running, but these are really light, and I threw some Lowry seasoning salt on them, and they taste really good, even just to eat them just like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this stuff put up in some jars so that I can use them for my cooking. These are my mushrooms, and they're like sponges. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. Shawn has already gotten started working on the toilet some more. He is He's arranging the pipes for the drain. So we're already started. I'm gonna get going with putting this stuff away, and then we'll let you know what else we get into. All right, so I got my stuff out of the freeze dryer. I ended up with almost two quarts of the green beans. These have seasoning on them. Here is my celery. I think this is these are the pieces that I chopped. So I got a whole quart of chopped celery. This is a whole quart of yellow bell pepper. This is like a fourth of orange bell pepper. I have almost 2 quarts of the sliced mushrooms right here. And then these are the ones that I chopped into chopped mushrooms. So I'm excited to be able to use those. So the freeze dryer is done defrosting now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other load in of all of these vegetables that I prepared that were just, I just prepared too much. So I'm going to put those in the freeze dryer and get that cycle going. All right, guys, we finished lunch just now. I actually went into town, met a woman that I found on Facebook, and she was talking about how she has like 30 something chickens and she has all these eggs and no one will take them. Like, she can't sell them. She said she can't even give them away. So I messaged her and I told her if she was looking to give away some eggs, I'll take them. So she gave me 75 eggs. And so I went into town to pick her up, or to pick those up. And so now I've got to decide what I'm going to do with them. I already freeze dried 100 eggs. And so I will either freeze dry these 75 that she gave me, or I may do a combination of freeze drying some and then also water glassing them, because she has not washed them at all. So they're able to be water glassed, and I've seen a lot of people that do that, and I've wanted to try it. So I may do that, just because the difference, obviously, if you've done either or both or one or the other, then with water glassed eggs, you can crack them open and you have a separated egg or white and yolk. Whereas with freeze drying, it's all mixed in one. So Shawn is up at the house. He's still working on plumbing the new toilet. He's running the pipes and everything that go under the house. The girls are down in the field where our septic drain lines are. There was a lot of extra rock that we had, and so we've asked them to go and kind of pick up the rocks because it's just a big mess down there. So they're working on that. I'm down here at my garden and I'm going to kind of work on the soil. I'll work on mixing in some soil that I bought from Lowe's with the ground soil to try to give it a little bit of a better place to grow. So we'll see how that goes. That's what we're up to. I got my garden bed prepared. At least I think I did. You know, I tried to find YouTube videos of people putting in-ground gardens, and what I found was there weren't a lot of people that were in the situation that I'm in, where I have plenty of land, I just don't know what I'm doing. And I think maybe, you know, most people that have the land that we have already know what they're doing, or they have already started. So it was difficult for me to figure it out, and I'm just kind of going with, I don't know. We'll see. So in this bed here, if it looks familiar, we did build one like this several weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, and we took it out because the ground was really, really hard underneath, and I was worried that nothing would grow. The ground is pretty compacted still, but Shawn ran over this area with his tractor the other day, and so he loosened it up. And then I've added some peat moss. The brownish stuff is peat moss. And then you saw me just add some in-ground garden or in-ground soil. So I'm hoping that that will be enough to give it a good place to grow. And if not, I'll learn from it and I'll do it different next year. And then I lined the edge with the rock just for aesthetic purposes, so I could know where my garden is, or my bed is. This pot right here. It's probably a fire pit. Shawn actually found that at our apartment. Somebody had set it by the dumpster and he grabbed it, and we were almost going to toss it this morning, and then he said, well, do you want to use it as a planter? And I thought, well, yeah, because I think that will look really cool once I get plants growing in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got some what's it called, the potting soil for containers up at in the porch. So I'm going to go up and get that and then fill this. I'll probably put some of those logs over there in there first, just to fill some of it. I don't want to fill it too much, but I'll probably do that and then come down and maybe get something planted. I don't know. This one is going to have to wait. I'm going to let it sit at least for a week because I don't have very much time. I only have about an hour and 15 minutes before I have to leave. So that one will just sit and wait to be planted in, but I think maybe I can get something here. I still have my blueberries. My blueberries are alive, and I want to transplant them because I think this is too small for 4 blueberry bushes. I think they're going to get too big. So I want to transplant them. I just haven't figured out exactly where I want to do it. I'm thinking about up there along the side of the house. My mom says that they'll grow anywhere, so I'm thinking that might be a good place. I really would like to grow it up on top of this ridge here, but I can't because it's still a mess. We haven't had any time to clean this all up. I mean, all of this area is just messy, and we'll get to it. Shawn, is itching like crazy to get out here and clean it up, and I keep telling him not to worry about it because we need to focus more on the inside of the house than the outside, because the outside is going to be here, and once we're living here, we can spend some time getting the outside of the house looking better. That is his forte. He loves doing outside landscape. Well, I don't know if he loves it, but he's good at it and he makes it look good. So it's killing him that all of this is here like this, especially that pile. You saw us take care of that pile yesterday, but that dirt pile with all those rocks in it, that's killing him that it's sitting there. But I'm trying to tell him not to worry about it. It's not going anywhere, and we can take care of it when we have the time. But for right now, #1 priority is getting us a bathroom in that house so we can move in. So I'm gonna go get my bags of potting mix to put in there and see if I can get maybe something planted. I haven't figured out what I'm putting in there yet, so I'll be thinking about it while I'm doing that. So you can see I got it filled. It took 2 bags of container soil, and what I decided to use this for is for my garlic. This is that garlic that I put in the freezer to kind of harden off since I didn't have a chance to plant it in the fall. So I watched the video from M.I. Gardener, and he said that you can put garlic cloves in the freezer and that will give it the same effect as what happens to them when they freeze in the ground over the winter. So if they've been in the freezer for at least 5 to 6 weeks, which is what he said to leave them in there for. So I'm going to plant them in there, and I'll see how many of them I get in there. I'm back inside, finished up outside and cleaned up my mess. And what I'm doing now is I came back in, and these are those eggs that I freeze dried last weekend. And I used my vacuum sealer to seal the lids on. And some of them, like you can hear, some of them did not, or they sealed, but then they've lost their seal since then. That's one of them. They're okay because I have an oxygen absorber in them, but the freeze dryer will actually seal. So you can hear the difference. That one is sealed. Sorry, there's a bee flying around me. But this one right here is not. So I watched a video of someone using the vacuum or the freeze dryer as a sealer. So that's what I'm gonna do. I took out the tray rack that was in there, and now I'm gonna close it up. And I'm going to click up here on that, and I'm gonna turn on the vacuum. And you can hear the vacuum. All right, so I just let it run about 40 seconds, and now I'm going to hit done. And I think it worked. If it didn't, it was because I didn't have the, yeah, you know what? I know what I did. I forgot to close the drain valve. So let me go close the drain valve and then I'll try it again. All right, I did it right that time, so let me open up the drain valve. And now I should be able to open it. Ah, and it's sealed. Yay, I'm so excited that worked. Yep, those are all sealed. Shawn's yelling in the other room. He's excited it worked. Oh shoot, this one didn't work. All right, let me try that again. These guys are good. That's good. And that's good, but there's one more that's not, so I'm gonna run it again. So, close it back up. I'm gonna close the drain valve. Not sure. All right, I'm gonna go back up here. Turn the vacuum on. All right, so 4th time worked on that one. Finally got it to work. So we have got to leave. The girls and I have to leave because Bailey has softball pitching practice tonight. So we're gonna take off from the farm. Shawn was able to get the toilet hooked up. He said that we have to wait until tomorrow till we can use it because the pipes, the seals on the pipes have to dry. But he did hook it up in the new spot. So let me turn the camera on and I'll show you where it is. All right, so there is the location of the new toilet. It's in, it's ready to go, I think tomorrow. This is where it was, where that hole is right there. And so the layout of the bathroom now, if I can get away from this wasp that's flying around me, is that the door obviously is gonna stay there. This area we left in case we wanted to do like a little pony wall, if we felt like we needed that privacy when you walk in. But then across from here where the toilet was is gonna be the vanity. We wanted to be able to put a bigger vanity in there so we'll fit a bigger vanity that is able to accommodate 2 sinks. And then the shower will the entrance of the shower will be here and it will run that way and have that window in it. Although Shawn wants to change it to a smaller window that is just the top part of that window. So that's the plan for where the new shower is gonna go. It will run part of that and it will just kind of jet into this room here, which is gonna be our closet. So that's the plan for the bathroom. That's why we had to move the toilet from there where he originally hooked it up over to here. But now it's here and it should be good to go next weekend when we're out here. So that's it for this weekend. I think Shawn's gonna stay and do some more things before he leaves tonight, but the girls and I are out of here and we will catch up with you guys next weekend. We only have 3 weekends until we have to be out of our apartment, and like I said, I think I mentioned before, this time it's the real deal because they've already rented our apartment out. So we have been moving stuff every time we come, we bring a load. So we'll do some more next weekend, and I don't know what we're gonna get into next weekend. Hopefully I'm planting in my garden. So we'll see you next time, but thanks for watching. Bye.